I'm a chronically online lesbian, and today I'm going to explain to you all the Sedona and Liv TikTok drama that has been taking over TikTok lately. Now I'm just going to put a little like trigger warning at the beginning of this video that what is described as like TikTok drama, as you'll see throughout the course of this video, is actually not TikTok drama at all, and it's actually quite serious and ends up being a bunch of women talking about how they have survived not only emotional but physical abuse, allegedly, I have to be careful with my words here, I'm new to this, but allegedly by this person Sedona. It's a lot, so let's get on into it. The internet turning on Sedona, which trust me, it's rightfully so, started when Liv dropped a 10-part series explaining why she and Sedona broke up.
Who the fuck did I take to Mexico?
Now, if like me, before this all unfolded, you'd never heard of them before in your life, they were actually a really popular lesbian couple on TikTok. Liv has over 400,000 followers and she posts a lot about fashion and travel, while Sedona has over 2 million followers as she is a college basketball player. And now look, I'm not American, so my understanding of college basketball is a little bit weak, but is it not a little bit odd that Sedona has been playing college basketball for 4 or almost 5 years? I thought that college was only like 2-3 years long. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but it seems like she's been in college for a while, right?
I'm back!
So the pair posted a lot of videos together, a lot about their love life, and they were really popular on TikTok. So naturally, when they broke up and deleted all their photos together, everyone had a lot of questions. And we actually never really got an answer until recently when Liv dropped her 10-part series entitled
Who the fuck did I take to Mexico?
And Liv has told us that what actually sparked her posting this series was that despite her number being blocked, Sedona continued to message Liv, saying that she was tarnishing what they had by posting subliminals on social media.
I didn't realize that you can still get blocked text messages on your laptop. I just stumbled across one from a certain somebody saying I tarnished what we had, and what I'm posting on social media has ruined it. You want to know what tarnished what we had?
And after Liv released her story, it inspired previous survivors of Sedona to release their stories as well. And it is all absolutely terrifying and horrific. So we're gonna start with Liv's 10-part series, Who the Fuck Did I Take to Mexico? It was Sedona's birthday and Liv organized a trip to Mexico for them, as Sedona had previously said that Liv didn't organize enough dates, she didn't plan enough things for
A trip that I completely paid for and planned. Planned because she said I didn't plan any dates. Enough dates or get her enough flowers.
Liv took it upon herself, was like, okay, got you, heard, for your birthday, I'm gonna take you to Mexico. And Liv paid for everything, this is important. I'm gonna take you to Mexico, plan the whole trip, and you will have an amazing birthday. So they wake up in the morning in the States to go to the airport. Liv is a little bit on edge, walking on eggshells, trying not to upset Sedona in the morning because she doesn't like mornings. Red flag.
So we wake up 3 a.m. before the plane ride. Already was scared because she is not good in the morning. Was always very angry. So I try not to step on her toes, try to stay out of her way until we got to the airport.
They get on the plane and they order some beers, and Liv accidentally spills a little bit on Sedona. Sedona apparently cracks and moves to the opposite aisle for the rest of the flight.
On the plane, everything was fine, and then we sat next to each other, ordered a beer. I accidentally spilled some of my beer on her leg. So what'd she do? Got up and went and sat on the opposite side of the aisle from me for the rest of the plane ride. And what'd I do? Looked outside the window and cried.
I've seen people online being like, that's very dramatic. I don't think it's dramatic. I think it is a form of emotional abuse. Like the having to walk on eggshells around her all morning, the huge overreaction to something that was clearly an accident, usually is indicative, whatever the word is, of emotional abuse. So Liv said that the first 2 days were really good, but it was on the 3rd day that Sedona started to get annoyed that she wasn't in charge of the plan.
So the 3rd day came around and she was getting upset that she wasn't in control of the plans. I told her we could do whatever she wanted to do because it was her birthday.
Mind you, the whole reason that they're in Mexico is because Sedona had said that Liv didn't plan enough stuff for them. And now that Liv is out here planning everything, Sedona still isn't happy. So Liv says, no worries, we can do what you want. What do you want to do today? And Sedona says she wants to hire an ATV. So they do. They go out on the ATVs all day, have a great time. And then this is where it gets scary. When it's nighttime, Sedona suggests that they go out on the ATVs again. At night, in the jungle, in a foreign country. And not only that, but she suggests that they leave their phones at home, or in the hotel, sorry, not at home, so that they can be more present in the moment.
And then came nighttime. She looks at me and says, I want to go exploring. And so what did we do? We left our phones in the hotel room and started to drive the ATV in the dark in Mexico.
So they ride the ATV in the dark of night in a foreign country where there are known to be jaguars and all sorts of other scary animals that can harm you. So Sedona is driving the ATV and Liv is sitting behind her screaming, begging for her to stop because she can obviously see how dangerous this situation is.
At this point, I am begging her to turn it around and for us to do this in the daytime when we have our phones because we left our phones to be more present in the moment. She's not answering me. She's just going and going faster. We're now past the arch and it's pitch black and it's the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And I'm begging her, screaming, please stop the ATV. Please stop the ATV.
Sedona eventually slams on the brakes, allegedly shoves Liv to the ground. And so allegedly like putting her hands on Liv. And then when Liv is on the ground, Sedona looks her dead in the eyes before getting back on the ATV and driving away.
She stops it as hard as she can, shoves me to the ground, looks me dead in my eyes, and then takes off.
Leaving Liv all alone in the jungle in the dead of night with no phone. I cannot wrap my head around that concept of how you can be such an awful human being to leave your partner alone in the forest, not only with like the imminent danger, but also with no phone, so she has no way of contacting anyone. I can't even imagine how scared Liv would have been in that moment, and she said that when she did get up and start to like run for her life out of this jungle, she could only hear the sound of her footsteps echoing, and oh my gosh, that would just be so scary. So after Liv is absolutely terrified and probably in a bit of shock that her partner would do this to her, allegedly, she sees some headlights coming towards her, thank God, and it ends up being Sedona. But Sedona actually flips her ATV as she had allegedly been driving recklessly.
For like 5 minutes, I am running for my life, and the thoughts that were running through my head, I can't even put into words, but I see her headlights coming back. I see the headlights coming back, and as soon as she gets to me, she flips it on its side.
And I don't know why this is, but it is quite common that people who are either emotionally or physically abusive are also reckless. I couldn't find any studies to confirm why this is, but it does seem to be an ongoing issue. Whenever I hear about someone that's abusive, they also just have like no regard for rules. They're always pushing the limits on absolutely everything and just a really reckless person. And I'm intrigued to know why that is, but I couldn't find any research to support that. But anyway, Liv sees Sedona flip the ATV, and she of course runs over to make sure that Sedona is okay. And Sedona allegedly puts her hands on Liv and shoves her off her, saying to get the off her.
And what do? I fucking still run over to her, and I'm like, baby, are you okay? Trying to make sure that she's okay. She shoves me, tells me to get the fuck off of her, that it's my fault we're in this situation, that I held her back.
Just disgusting and despicable behavior. Allegedly leaving her partner in the woods, then for some reason decides to come back only to allegedly shove their partner again. Just awful, disgusting, despicable. But Liv wants to get out of the jungle, obviously, so she flips over the ATV herself, tries to start it, and it doesn't start. So they are now both stuck in the jungle with no way out and no ATV. Thankfully, a car actually ends up coming down the street and has 10 men standing in the back, which obviously is not what any woman wants to see ever when you're stranded somewhere. 10 men pulling up to you. As we know, you would all choose the bear over the man, but thankfully these were all really nice, kind men that ended up helping them out. Thank God. And they agreed to tow the ATV, which is a miracle that they were even there, and just such fantastic news for Liv and Sedona, as it's their ticket out of the jungle. But of course, Sedona allegedly causes more issues.
She's steering it as we're now going 35 miles per hour behind the back of a truck. She is swerving it, yelling at me, we're broken up, I'm breaking up with you, this is your fault, you're holding me back. And I'm literally saying, okay, we're broken up, okay, let's just talk about this when we get back, please stop swerving. I black out.
She wakes up to her entire left side torn up, and Sedona apparently telling these men to leave them in the jungle. I don't know why you would do that. I cannot understand this person's brain, but I don't know why you see your partner on the ground injured, you've just accidentally thrown them off the ATV, they're covered in blood. Why would you tell these men who are there to help you to leave you? And furthermore, I've got a bone to pick with these men. They leave. I understand these men don't owe them anything, but I think in certain times you can be a good human and say, oh, this doesn't look right, maybe we'll stick around and help them out. Liv and Sedona are once again stuck in the jungle. This time Liv is quite injured, and she's of course in pain, but she gets up and starts walking back to the hotel, because what are they meant to do? They both just start walking by foot and hope that, you know, jaguars don't eat them. They've just been through absolute hell. And so what does Sedona apparently do? Starts skipping through the jungle, singing that she's single and looking for her Latina short baddie. Literally saying, I'm single, where's my short Latina baddie at? skipping in front of Liv. Has Liv not endured enough? Like, what is wrong with you? And the worst part is that I'm sure you guys all agree with me that this person is not a good person, that they're actually quite evil. And we're not even at the end of Liv's story, let alone the 3 other women who have come forward. So the next day, it's Sedona's birthday, and Liv wakes up and is really nice to Sedona.
So it's now her birthday, and I've woken up and I'm kissing on her, loving on her, and I'm like, baby, it's your birthday, like let's have a good day today, let's pretend that yesterday didn't happen. And she shoves me away from her. She's like, we're broken up, I'm done with you, I don't want to spend my birthday with you, fuck you, and rolls her head into the pillow.
And before y'all start commenting that Liv should have left and she shouldn't have been nice to Sedona, just know that when you're in an abusive relationship, whether that be emotional or physical, I don't know how to explain it, but you can't just leave. They emotionally beat you down to the point where you feel like you cannot leave. And Liv, of course, loved her partner and was in a foreign country with her, so it's not as easy as, oh, she should have just left. And it's a lot harder of a situation to be in, I think, than a lot of people realize. Because all over TikTok, I've seen so many comments of, I would have left sooner. And it's like, you say that, but when you're in the situation, it is a lot more difficult. Anyway, so Liv has been incredibly nice to Sedona, and Sedona, who's allegedly caused all these issues, is the reason that they ended up in all those problems in the first place. So it's then Liv that organizes to get the ATV back to pay for the damages when she was not the person who flipped it and damaged it, and it cost her $800. But because she's a nice person, when she gets back to the hotel, she actually goes down to the reception and asks if there's any medical team or anything like that can help her and Sedona because they've been in an accident. The medical team comes upstairs, they assess both their injuries and decide to attend to Liv first because her injuries are worse.
And brought up a medical team to our room, and when they saw my wounds and then they saw hers, they were like, oh yeah, she needs help first. And I could just see her in the corner of my eye getting pissed off at the fact that I was getting help first. I was like, I can't do anything right, dude.
I cannot imagine my partner being injured and looked after by a medical team and just sitting there like, well, I should have been attended to first. Like, no, you're obviously gonna be looking out for your partner, worried about them. Instead of asking if Liv is okay, when it comes time for their dinner reservations that Liv had made for Sedona's birthday at 8:30 p.m, Sedona apparently wakes up and says to Liv, I'm spending my birthday alone. You, and leaves Liv alone in the hotel room. I can't even imagine how lonely and isolated Liv felt in that moment, to be in a foreign country with your partner who you thought was in love with you, who was acting incredibly awful, like so disgusting and awful, and to not even be able to go like to your parents, to your friends, to her usual support system because she's away from home. It just would have felt so awful and just so gut-wrenching. So a few hours go by and Sedona actually ends up messaging Liv, saying that she's getting a tattoo down the street and Liv should pull up. And she apologizes to Liv, but not for leaving her alone in the jungle, not for crashing the ATV, not for being emotionally, physically abusive to her, but for not going to the dinner reservations. Saying to Liv that she was sorry that Liv had planned such a great day for them, but Sedona just wants her birthday to be manic. Even the way Sedona texts give me the ick. And mind you, the whole reason they are on this trip is because Sedona said Liv doesn't plan anything. Then when Liv is planning something, she's still in the wrong and Liv cannot win. But it gets so much worse, y'all, because when Liv gets to the tattoo shops, she sees Sedona, her girlfriend, or I guess ex-girlfriend at this point. Still, I don't know, it's blurry what they are. Surrounded by 5 girls doing shots together.
And I show up to the tattoo shop and what do I see? 5 girls taking shots with her. All right, okay. What am I walking into?
Can you imagine like going through absolute hell for the past 24 hours, then you walk into a shop and see your girlfriend surrounded by 5 other women? Just horrific, just so awful.
There's 3 girls that I love, still talk to this day. 2 girls, you guys can eat this. They are flirting with her right in front of me. She comes up to me and she's like, oh, they just asked to have a I said, you're fucking joking, right? Are you actually joking? And she's like, well, I got their number and we're gonna go over to their villa when you're done with your tattoo.
I mean, I sound like a broken record, but I just cannot believe that there is a human out there that is this awful. Just insane behavior, just rat behavior. Honestly, rat behavior. So when Liv's tattoo is done, they end up going to a villa with all 5 of the girls. And this is when the second villain of the story enters, Francesca. Sedona is still, of course, the most evil person in this story, but Francesca, you ain't it. You're not a nice person either, and you're not a girl's girl, that's for sure.
Francesca, she got out of the front and she literally was like, I'll sit on your lap, to my freaking girlfriend. I look at her and I'm like, no, you're not, bro. What are you doing? So then automatically the tension in the car was so awkward. My girlfriend didn't even want me sitting on her. I could literally feel the energy. So I felt like I was just going along for the ride to make sure that she wasn't cheating on me. Like, that's literally what I felt like I was there for.
When she gets there, she ends up going to the bathroom with the 3 nice girls who validate her and tell her that Sedona is being extremely mean to her, extremely disrespectful, and is not acting like she has a girlfriend. And Liv, of course, gets emotional because she just feels validated, like, oh my god, I'm not going crazy, this is actually happening. And when she leaves the bathroom, she walks downstairs to see her girlfriend topless in the pool, holding Francesca and pouring a shot into Francesca's mouth.
My girlfriend was in the pool of the villa without a top on and holding Francesca in her arms, pressed against her, pouring a shot of Don Julio in her mouth.
And it makes me feel ill saying this, but it's important to the story. Sedona was also apparently saying, come here sexy, come here mommy. I hate mommy, it's just a personal ick, especially like that person saying it. Yeah. So Liv, of course, goes up to Sedona and says that she's leaving, and Sedona apparently says to her, if you leave tonight, I'm going to Francesca. What a lovely girlfriend. That's just like what everyone wants to hear from their girlfriend, of course. And Liv decides to leave anyway, but as she's leaving, she realizes that she actually still has Sedona's phone. And those 3 girls from earlier that were lovely to her, they were leaving with her, and they were like, nah, you're not going back in there. We're not going to subject you to, like, you know, potentially seeing your partner cheat on you. We'll take the phone back for you. So they go, they take the phone back to Sedona, and when they get there, Liv just hears like blood-curdling scream.
I'm like, what is going on? So then I see them running out of the front of the villa, literally running for their life. They're like, we are leaving with or without you. We are leaving right now. Your girlfriend is a psychopath. I'm like, what is going on, bro? They said that the look in her eyes when they gave the phone back to her was the scariest thing that they've ever seen in their life. And the thing is, I know exactly that look.
And I know the look that they are talking about. I have seen it in people before, and it truly is scary. It's just like a scary look. I don't know how to explain it other than it looks like there's no soul behind their eyes. If you've ever seen someone give this look, you'll know what I mean. And if you've never seen someone give this look, very lucky. I'm very happy for you. Hopefully it stays that way because it is terrifying. And so those 3 girls end up leaving, and for some reason, this bit I didn't really understand, but we're not victim blaming here. Liv did what she had to do. Liv ends up staying, and she walks back out to the pool area to see Sedona lying down in a bush saying that her ankle is broken, and Liv picks her up and gets her back to the hotel. The next day, Liv wakes up and says to Sedona, let's have a good day today. Sedona once again allegedly pushes Liv away and says, we're done. I've already told my mum that we've broken up, which ends up being yet another lie from Sedona, because Sedona proceeds to call her mum on speakerphone and say that Liv ruined her birthday. And Liv wasn't just gonna let this fly, especially when she's in the room, so she says, why don't you tell your mum that you tried to other girls right in front of me? And this was the straw that finally broke the camel's back for Liv. Liv booked her flight back to the States and left Mexico, leaving Sedona on the holiday that they were meant to be on for another 12 days. But Liv leaves and goes back to America. But as I mentioned at the start of this video, their relationship was actually like really well known. They were really popular on TikTok, and when Liv left after going through absolute hell, it was actually Sedona who deleted all of their photos and blocked Liv's number. And this was, of course, going to cause some speculation about like what's going on, what's happening with them. And this is when Sedona allegedly messages Liv saying,
this is quote unquote what I was told by my ex. Have an amazing life, Olivia. Truly, I hope you find your soulmate. It's not me. Best wishes and have a great life. If you do not want any more troubles, then do not go to social media. If you do want to post about our breakup, I will sue you and your family, my baby, until you can no longer put food on y'all's table. And you know that's the truth. Bye, sweet, beautiful angel. I will meet you in the next lifetime.
that is the most arranged text message I've ever seen in my life. That is so terrifying. How can you in one message be like, I love you, sweet, beautiful angel, and then also be saying, I will sue you for all your words so that you can't feed your family? Insane! Also, the I will meet you in the next lifetime, is that a threat? I would take that as a threat. Like, no, you've already traumatized me enough. Please, if I see you in the next lifetime, I know that it is a punishment. And just what a terrifying experience for Liv. That is so awful. And I really commend her for being brave and speaking up about what truly happened on TikTok. Because this is not just some silly little TikTok drama breakup. This is a case of, in my opinion, domestic violence and abuse, both physically and emotionally. And Sedona actually did send Liv a cease and desist, allegedly.
Oh, guess who just got a cease and desist?
Hence why I'm saying allegedly 45 times in this video, because I don't want to get sued. But yeah, allegedly she sent Liv a cease and desist, which is silly because Liv didn't even say her name in any of the videos. But it gets worse. Because as I said, this person is truly a real life supervillain, and 3 other people have come forward with similar stories. So a woman named Faithlyn posted to TikTok that she actually had a short situationship with Sedona not long after she'd gotten back from Mexico, and that Faithlyn ended up ending things with Sedona due to her erratic behavior. That was quite similar to what Liv went through. So Faithlyn explained, and honestly you guys, Faithlyn is so well spoken, and it's actually through her videos that you get the real understanding that this person is a legit evil narcissist, because the narcissist qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others, which we've already seen all 4 of these behaviors through the Mexico story.
Long story short, a friend had set us up and we kind of, you know, immediately connected. She's very charming and very good, I think, at like showing you this very sweet side to her. Like, I really want you to come see me. In total, I was there for like 2 days. She seems really sweet, like very level-headed, very normal, to the point where I left the trip and I was like, why don't you come to New York and spend Pride with me and meet some of my friends?
But this trip was the last time she ever saw Sedona, as she ended up seeing Sedona's true colors. And this is what often happens with a narcissist, is that they love bomb you at first. Everything is so amazing. You love your life so much because they are so nice to you. They're so kind. You're like, wow, who is this amazing person? And then that gets ripped away from you and you see who they really are. So Faithlyn said that her friends are actually having a pride party. And she also said that her friends are a little bit older than her. They've got kids. And that there was an open bar at this party and her friend had like organized bartenders, but that everyone was just having a couple of chill drinks. You'll know the vibe. Basically, she's saying it's just a chill vibe. Most of my friends have kids. It's not a rager. It's not like a wild college party, just a couple of drinks with the pals. And from the sounds of things, no one was really drinking much at all except for Sedona.
But everyone was just chill, having drinks. So she starts drinking, and at one point in the day, okay, I'm cutting you off, like being serious but kind of joking at the same time, and I'm giving her water and I'm like, you're cut off, like you're not allowed to drink anymore. Like I could tell I had to kind of babysit her, so I couldn't really enjoy myself.
And to make it worse, Sedona's just going around saying to all of Faithlyn's friends that she wants to marry Faithlyn, that she loves her so much, and Faithlyn's kind of like, we don't know each other yet, like this is a bit odd. And props to her, she actually says this to Sedona.
We are sitting in the corner and she starts talking to me and she's like, I'm like falling in love with you, like, and I'm like, this is really weird, like you don't know me and I don't know you.
Sedona then starts crying, which again, this seems to be like a chill event. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how awkward and embarrassing that would have been for Faithlyn. And all of Faithlyn's friends were even asking her like, hey, are you okay? Like this is a bit of a red flag, this is a bit intense. And Faithlyn's like, yeah, look, she's just a lot. So Faithlyn's like, okay, let's just like go inside. But when they go inside, Sedona disappears. So Sedona's missing for quite a while. Faithlyn's texting her like, hey, where did you go? She can't find her, and eventually she does find her passed out in her friend's guest bedroom, which again, it sounded like it was just pretty chill drinks. So to be passed out drunk like that is so embarrassing. So Faithlyn goes in with her friend, and very similar to Liv's story, Faithlyn's friend said that she'll never forget the look in Sedona's eyes.
Walk in with my friend, and my friend still to this day, similar to Liv's video, goes, I will never forget the look in her eyes. There was something dead. It was so scary.
So when they walk into the room, Sedona wakes up, and then she gets up and runs out of the apartment without shoes on. And Faithlyn seems like a nice person because she goes after Sedona and is like, she doesn't know the city, she's not from here, like I'm gonna go and make sure she's okay. Sedona's apparently literally running away from her, and then eventually when Faithlyn's able to get her to stop, she yells at Faithlyn, allegedly puts her hands on her and shoves her.
She is so angry at this point. I think that she got caught, you know, drunk on the floor. It was her getting aggressive with me. I'm trying to have her hand. She's yelling at me in the streets, pushing my hand away, shoving me. Fucking shoving me.
And this is not the first time that we've heard the allegation that Sedona has been putting her hands on other women. Terrifying, terrifying behavior. So Faithlyn is just trying to de-escalate the situation and is trying to get Sedona to go home to bed, and is asking Sedona if they can just talk, and she eventually does get Sedona to go home. And when she woke up the next day, she apologized to Faithlyn, and Faithlyn thankfully had no sympathy for her and instead was like, you need to pack up and you need to change your flights and get out of here. And apparently Sedona started crying and was like trying to manipulate her, and Faithlyn was just like, not having it, don't want it, seeing what I needed to see you later.
She's like, I'm so sorry, like I'm just so sorry. I go, I'm really sorry, I have no sympathy for you and the way that you acted. Like I I don't think I can get over that, and I need you to change your flight. Then she'd be like, I understand. She's trying to manipulate me, crying, and I'm like, no, like, you need to leave. She's like, do you want to go watch the parade? Do you want to go this? I go, no, like, you need to change your flight and you need to leave my house. Like, I will never speak to you again.
And thankfully, Sedona leaves. Faithlin said that she thinks this erratic behavior happened because Sedona was like embarrassed that she'd been caught passed out drunk. And I think that this could be the case because with narcissists, they're usually very like insecure people that project this big like, I'm so great, no, I'm so fat, but deep down they are like terrified little kids, and it's their biggest fear that anyone is going to see that side of them, the terrified little kid, which would make sense as to why she then acted the way she did. I'm so happy that Faithlin is okay, which leads us to Riley. So before Faithlin had a situationship with Sedona, before Liv had a relationship with her, she actually had a very public relationship on TikTok with Riley. Now Riley has posted that after seeing all of these videos on TikToks about Sedona, that it's all been really traumatic for her and that she doesn't want to insert herself into the situation. So I'm not going to go into detail about what happened between the pair, as I think with something as serious as this, it's not just TikTok drama, it's very traumatic and serious. So Riley's asked not to be discussed. I'm not gonna discuss her. All I'm gonna say is that when Liv and Sedona first started dating a few years ago, Riley did say like, oh, everything is not as it seems, and tried to tell the internet about what she'd gone through, but everyone just kind of ignored her. And she did recently comment saying that her situation and her experience was similar to Liv's. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm gonna respect her wishes and we shall move on. So Crystal is yet another woman who has come out and said that Sedona was awful to her. And although Crystal never actually met Sedona, her story has a lot of similarities to Liv, Faithlin, and Riley's stories in Sedona's behavior. As back in 2020, Sedona and Crystal matched on Tinder and began talking, and as they were talking, Crystal posted a video, which this made me feel so old when I was reading this and trying to understand what it is, but basically, she told people to comment on her video and she was gonna pick people in the comments that she would simp for and make a video about them. Basically, in like terms I can understand, she said, comment on my video, and if I think you're hot, I'll make a new video with you in it. And when she posted this video of all the people that she thought was hot, or in her words, she'd simp for, Sedona commented on it, saying, sad, I'm not on here. And so Crystal made a part 2 the next day that included Sedona, and Sedona commented saying, thank you, I'm finally appreciated. But behind the scenes, Sedona was apparently blowing up Crystal's phone, going off at her, saying that she felt underappreciated, saying she felt disrespected, saying that Crystal was lying, she was rude, and spreading a false info for clout. And she once again, which we saw her do this with Liv, said that if Crystal were to speak up, no one would believe her. And it just goes to show that this sort of crazy behavior has been going on for quite some time, and that this Sedona character has been running around for years terrorizing multiple women, as I believe that there's probably a lot more women than those who have come forward, as they probably don't want to share their trauma, their, you know, everything they went through online. I think that there's going to be a lot more women out there who have been affected by this person. Hey pals, it's me with the fake tan and new outfit on, because I had already finished filming this video, and the day I was about to post it, Sedona posted her reply to this entire situation in the form of a TikTok, which we of course have to talk about. And her response slash, I guess, apology, I guess you're meant to call it, is exactly what you would expect from a narcissistic abuser. Because in this response, which I will get into in a second, she claims to take all the accountability while simultaneously taking no accountability. But don't you worry, I watched her TikTok so that you don't have to. And let me tell you, if you already hate this woman like I did, you are going to hate her even more by the end of her response. Because she first of all starts off her TikTok smiling. Her TikTok is addressing abuse allegations, addressing domestic, emotional, and mentally abusing multiple women, and she starts out this video smiling. She is insane.
All right, hello everyone. I have seen and heard everything that's been said and what's transpired these last few weeks on the internet, and I have been quiet because I've genuinely just been listening and taking everything in. I have been holding myself accountable. That
sounds great, right? That bit right there, you can be like, okay, well that's good. Yeah, you were in the wrong. You probably should be in jail. But it's good at least that you have been listening to what everyone's saying and holding yourself accountable. But she does the opposite and actually justifies her actions and does not hold herself accountable. And Sedona says that she wasn't ready to talk about this on the internet, but her parents have started to receive death threats.
Last night, my parents were brought into this, and now my 60 and almost 70-year-old mother and father have been receiving countless death threats and getting harassed all day and are scared. It's cruel, it's wrong, and it's not the way that we should hold each other accountable.
And I agree. I do not agree with death threats. I don't agree with her parents getting death threats. But you know what I think is cruel? Shoving someone off an ATV, putting your hands on your girlfriend and shoving her off an ATV and leaving her essentially for dead in the jungle in a foreign country. I also think it's cruel to put your hands on another woman in public in New York after embarrassing her in front of all of her friends because you got too drunk. I also find it pretty cruel to cheat on your girlfriend right in front of her. I don't know, I'd say those things are pretty cruel too. But it gets worse, y'all, because Sedona then goes on to say that she's never abused anybody in her life. Not emotionally, not physically, not mentally. That's not her, and that's not who she is.
I have never abused anybody in my life. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. That's not what I stand for. I've never abused anybody emotionally, physically, mentally, you know, verbally. That's not me, and that's not what I've done. That's not who I am.
Just flat out deny all of those accusations is crazy to me, because it's not even like it is just one woman coming forward, which even if it was just Liv, I would believe her. I am always going to believe the victims, and I'm never going to believe an abuser. But just for the sake of Sedona's insane mind, it's not just Liv that has come forward. Riley has also come forward. Faithlyn has also come forward. Crystal has also come forward. Multiple women have come forward saying the same thing. What, so they're all lying? Are they just all lying and telling very similar stories with the same behavior over and over again, but what, they're just all not telling the truth because you say you've never done that? Essentially trying to manipulate the internet into not believing the victims, and it just makes me so angry. Sedona then continues saying that she wasn't a good partner at times and that she wasn't the best girlfriend. But again, there is a difference between being like not a great girlfriend and being an abuser. She then apologizes to her previous girlfriends, not for the abuse, but for not being the best girlfriend that she can be. And she then goes on to say that she's been in intense trauma therapy to heal the pain that has been affecting her, and that she's been journaling and meditating, and she hopes that everyone in this situation can find peace, healing, and forgiveness, and that everyone can move on.
I have been journaling, right? Meditating, these things that I need to do in order to be the best person that I can be. I hope that everyone involved in this can just find peace and healing and forgiveness, and that we can move on and learn something from this.
As the abuser in this situation, it is insane. It is so incredibly wild to me that she feels she can just go on TikTok and be like, no, but guys, I'm journaling and meditating, so it's actually okay. All is actually well. That's not how this works. These women that she has like tormented for years are likely going to be affected by this for the rest of their lives. And for her to come online and just take zero accountability,
I have been journaling, right? Meditating.
just shows that she literally does not care. I truly think that this is her attempt to manipulate the internet. But as we've seen in these sort of situations before, not necessarily with abuse, but with like Clinton Kane or now with Sedona, with these master manipulators, they are so used to getting their way. They are so used to manipulating everyone that when they need to do an apology about something on the internet, they come online and use those same manipulation tactics. But the issue is the internet is big, the internet is large, and you cannot manipulate the internet. As can be seen in the comments section on Sedona's video. The top comment at the time of recording this is from Avery Cyrus saying boo, and it has 129,000 likes. Meanwhile, Sedona's video itself has 90,000 likes. And the overall consensus is just that Sedona's manipulation tactics are not working, and instead we all, of course, believe the victims. Now, I'm sure, like me, when you heard Sedona's insane response, you of course wonder, like, what are the women saying? What is Liv saying about this? And Liv made a response on TikTok.
What kind of apology is that? Taking accountability and then justifying your actions in the same video is not an apology.
She then goes on to say something that is so terrifying.
You hit me, Sedona, multiple times, and then proceeded to square up over me and said, I'm 6'7", bitch. You want to know what domestic abuse is? I'll show you, because I was screaming at you, telling you to stop.
How terrifying for Liv. Absolutely terrifying, and this person needs to be in jail. I don't understand why they're allowed to live this normal life. They've not even been kicked off their college basketball team. I don't know what goes on in America, but if that was Australia, they would have been kicked out so fast. This is a dangerous and abusive person, and I don't think I've ever hated anyone more than Sedona. She's a monster. She is a real life monster. Liv continues by saying that Sedona told her that she was going to get this intense therapy that Sedona was talking about in her video, but Liv points out, which is such a valid point, that it was just after she had told Liv this that she was in New York with Faithlyn terrorizing her.
You told me you were going to get intensive therapy immediately after, but what did you do? You went and were with a whole nother woman in New York and then proceeded to hurt her because you were so blackout drunk.
And Liv ends on a really good point, saying that this all happened, like the Mexico trip happened 3 months ago, which I'm sure you guys all know. You cannot do like intense trauma therapy to rewire your brain in 3 months. It takes so much time and so much work. And Liv, and by saying that she kind of wishes that Sedona had just stayed quiet instead of coming forward with this apology. I completely agree. My heart honestly breaks for Liv. I think that she has lived through something that is so terrifying and just awful. I can't believe this sort of evil monster exists, and I feel really, really bad for Liv. She has gone through hell and back and come out the other side, and honestly, I really hope that we see like good things happen for her now. But Liv wasn't the only person who came forward and made a response video. Riley actually came forward as well. As you guys know, at the beginning of this video, I didn't say much about Riley because she'd said on the internet that she didn't want to be involved, that this is like bringing up a lot of trauma for her, and I of course respected that. But we are going to talk about her response because I feel like if it's out on the internet, then she's okay with it. So in the video, Riley is just like lying down in bed and is doing a shocked face whilst listening to Sedona's response. But it's at the very end of this video that is really interesting because Riley posts, basically it's a screenshot of an album on her phone named Proof. This is only on screen for like a second, and it's incredibly difficult to decipher as the text is so small, but I was able to decipher 5 different text threads, and we're gonna go through them together. In the first couple of screenshots that I could decipher, Sedona is mad at Riley for going to sleep. According to Sedona, she's been trying to talk to Riley all day, but in Sedona's words, Riley has been tired as fuck, and Sedona then tells her, go to sleep, Riley, whatever. Riley is of course confused and upset and is like, can you not end the convo like that? And you guys can of course read through these screenshots as well, but what is essentially happening here, Riley is saying, I have been supportive of you all day, I don't understand what's wrong, why are you mad at me, basically. Sedona tells Riley that she's done with this and that Riley is delusional, and when Riley asks what Sedona is talking about, Sedona pops off on her in all capital letters, saying Riley is a fucking lazy and boring partner and that she is an asshole. And that is abuse. Like, Riley is being gaslit, ignored, and belittled, and I just feel so awful for Riley. I know firsthand what it's like to receive texts like that, and it is just hell on earth. In another screenshot, we can see that Sedona says to Riley, I hope you have miserable days filled with boring shit for the rest of your life, you rat. In yet another text, we see Sedona abuse Riley, saying, nah, JK, I'll never let you win like that. You little piece of shit. I hate you. You win. Woo! You hurt me the same I hurt you. You won, Riley. Good job. You got your payback. Now leave me alone, leave me alone. And in the final text I can decipher, I don't know this for a fact, but reading the text and with my life experience, it kind of seems to me like Sedona may be drunk and on a bit of a drunken ramble. Because she says to Riley, I love you so much and it feels like you don't know how to love me anymore because I didn't have enough space. And I'm prettier than Megan's uncle, by the way, fun fact. When Riley says, I have no idea what you're on about, which I don't know what she's on about either, Sedona says, yeah, honestly, me neither. I'm about to brush my teeth. Are you awake at all? Riley's reply is cut off, but then they both say goodnight. And Sedona says, you are awful. I was trying to be silly and make things a little bit better. Just exhausting for Riley. As I said, I know what it's like I think maybe that's why I got so passionate earlier, is that I have been in similar situations to these women, and so it upsets me, of course, to see things like that, like those messages that are so nasty, just pure nasty to poor Riley for no reason. And it's just clear through ample proof that Sedona is in the wrong. For years, she has been terrorizing multiple women, and I really do think that there are more women out there that she's terrorized that just haven't come forward to TikTok, which is of course so valid, and I completely understand, because to me she is a terrifying, scary person that genuinely deserves jail time. Like, not even saying that as a joke, like genuinely deserves jail time. I personally think it is so amazing and so incredible that these women have come forward to TikTok to talk about their experience, as not only does it warn people of Sedona, but it also highlights that domestic violence can occur in lesbian couples. I think at times that gets overshadowed, and that as lesbians we can forget to look for the warning signs. So perhaps people that are watching this on TikTok, on YouTube, or even on this video are watching this being like, oh no, am I being abused? Like, I didn't realize it was quite that bad. So if you are watching this and you are starting to feel that way, please know you are so loved and that you can reach out for help. If you're in Australia, you can dial 1-800-RESPECT for 24/7 help. If you're in America, you can dial 1-800-799-7233, and if you're in the UK, you can dial 0808-200-247. A terrifying experience for all of these women to go through, and I just can't even fathom that someone is that evil exists in the world. So thank you guys for listening to today's deep dive. Hopefully we now see the like thriving of Liv, Faithlyn, Riley, and all of the other women. I really just want to see the best for them after everything that they've been through. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I upload new videos every single week, sometimes even twice a week. Also, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat if you want to see some more short form content from me. But if not, I will see you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.